Mindset is key. Believe your potential and try to manage imposter syndrome. I'm going to unpack that in a second. Um, we see people coming into the next certification level, giving it a go. And I think that's great. If you have the bandwidth and the time and you just want to come in because you're curious and you're ready to learn, that's fantastic. And that will provide a mindset that allows you to kind of be a sponge. Um, the other mindset is coming in and I want to pass. And that has pros and cons to it because it will usually keep people more focused, but it can put unnecessary stress on you through the course. And it's self-imposed stress because you're imposing expectations on you before you've even started the course. Um, and then there's the mindset where they don't have a mindset and they just assume they're going to pass because they're coach X or they've done this for X amount of years and they haven't actually come in with a purposeful mindset. They just kind of, oh, it's a course, I'll take it. And they've underappreciated the time or the focus it might need to take. So, really, the best mindsets I've seen is a balance of coming in and being curious and wanting to learn and being open to recognizing weaknesses, but also really having a little bit of a goal to actually want to try and tick something off if you can. Because if you're not realistic about coming in and trying to pass one element at least of the course, there is a risk that you're coming in too soon. Um, and we'll get into that a little bit in a second with different strategies for preparing for courses. But mindset is key. Does it, there's pros and cons to different mindset, but just be aware of that, be purposeful about that. Focus. We always say this to our students: set clear, intentional goals, be smart about it, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and then what's the timeline? Be specific about your goal setting to help you work up to that course. Um, can't tell you the number of times people have come in and say the advanced coach flow course. Have you worked on your jumping? Not really. That's a huge component of that course, and they don't live anywhere with many jumps, but then they haven't found anywhere to ride with jumps. Um, Even if you don't have jumps, find a pump track and get really comfortable with pumping berms and rollers at speed under a lot of load and energy. Because if you can pump at speed um, with strength and power, you have 99% of the skills you need to jump. So whether you have the terrain or not, there are ways to be intentional and focused with your training so you come in prepared for that course. Um, and that's really built into deliberate practice. Going back to what I said earlier, some people take 1 or 2 years to get to level 3. Some people might take 6 or 7 years. It really depends on the quality of deliberate practice. And there's studies on that where we often hear the 10,000 hours quote, which is really kind of being misrepresented through sports science and psychology over the years. But really, and even the authors of that study say the same thing. But really, there's a lot of studies out there that suggest it's not the amount of hours, it's the quality of deliberate practice that will determine how quickly you can develop a skill. And just writing is not going to help you improve. Just coaching isn't going to help you improve as quickly as you can. Coach with purpose, coach with a goal to improve your analysis, coach with a goal to improve your connection with kids, coach with a goal to learn more about the biomechanics of rotation so that when you explain it, it's more concise and precise. If you're not setting specific targets and goals for your coaching won't improve as quickly as it could. And we all know that's the same for our biking. I think coaches are quite good at setting specific goals in our riding. I want to get better on my jumps, or my stability, or my pressure, or my rotation. And then it comes to coaching and they don't necessarily apply that same strategy. So focus is key.